Auzubillahiminash-shaytanir-rajim. Bismillahir-rahmanir-rahim. Assalamu alaikum. We are discussing the mechanism of this respiration, and we have taken the first step, that is glycolysis. This glycolysis, it has been derived from two Greek words, glyco and lysis. Glyco means glucose and lysis means breakdown. So it is the breakdown of glucose, and this glycolysis, it takes place in the cytoplasm of the cell, and it is also known as EMP pathway because it was worked out by three scientists, Embedon, Meyerhoff and Paranas. And this pathway, this glycolysis, takes place in the absence of oxygen. That is why we call it as common pathway, because it is common between anaerobic and aerobic respiration. And this glycolysis, it involves the breakdown of glucose into two molecules of pyruvic acid, which are 3 carbon compounds. And this glycolysis, this breakdown of glucose into two pyruvic acid molecules, this takes place in about 10 steps. And these 10 steps, they have been further divided into 2 steps. The first 5 reactions are called as phase first, and the last 5 reactions, they are called phase second. This phase first is also called preparatory phase or energy spending phase, while as the second phase, it is called payoff phase or energy conserving phase. Now we will see these steps. What happens to this glucose? First, phosphorylation takes place, and this with the help of, in the presence of enzyme hexokinase, with the help of ATP, it gets converted into glucose 6-phosphate, 1 molecule. Then with the help of another enzyme, phosphoglucoisomerase, this glucose 6-phosphate, it gets isomerized, it gets changed into its isomer, that is fructose 6-phosphate. And in the first step, glucose gets converted into glucose 6-phosphate, it gets phosphorylated to produce glucose 6-phosphate. This is considered to be the first priming step, where ATP is required, where ATP is expended to bring about the first phosphorylation. That is why this step is called first priming reaction or first priming step. Then in the second step, glucose 6-phosphate, it is isomerized, isomerization takes place, and it produces fructose 6-phosphate in the presence of enzyme phosphoglucoisomerase. Then this fructose 6-phosphate, another phosphorylation takes place here with the help of the enzyme phosphofructokinase, and it produces fructose 1,6-diphosphate. This step is called second priming reaction. This is called the second priming reaction, where second phosphorylation takes place, where second phosphorus is consumed. It is here consumed, that is why it is called second priming reaction. Then in another step, the fructose 1,6-diphosphate, it undergoes with the help of the enzyme aldolase, it produces dihydroxyacetone phosphate and glyceraldehyde 3-phosphate. Both are isomers of each other, and in this fructose 1,6-diphosphate, it splits into 1 molecule of dihydroxyacetone phosphate, which is 3 carbon compound, and 1 molecule of glyceraldehyde 3-phosphate, which is also a 3 carbon compound. Then this dihydroxyacetone phosphate, it undergoes isomerization with the help of triose phosphate isomerase, and it produces glyceraldehyde 3-phosphate. That means now we have 2 molecules of glyceraldehyde. With this the first step, that is priming step, it gets completed. This energy spending phase gets completed. Now it enters the second phase. Here what happens, this glyceraldehyde 3-phosphate, it undergoes dehydrogenation with the help of the enzyme glyceraldehyde 3-phosphate dehydrogenase, and it produces 1,3-diphosphoglycerate. It produces 1,3-diphosphoglycerate, which are also 2 molecules. Then this 1,3-diphosphoglycerate, with the help of enzyme phosphoglycerate kinase, here the first ATP molecule is produced, and it produces 3-phosphoglycerate. And 1,3-diphosphoglycerate, it is converted into 3-phosphoglycerate. Here 1 ATP molecule is produces. That is why this we call as the first ATP formation reaction. And here the first ATP formation takes place. During these reactions, the ATP is produced. In the first 5 reactions, ATP is consumed at 2 steps, which we call as priming reactions. And here first ATP, the formation of first ATP molecule takes place. This is the 7th reaction where the first ATP molecule is produced. But here 2 ATP molecules are produced because 1,3-diphosphoglyceric acid glycerate molecules are 2. They produce 2 3-phosphoglycerate molecules, and 2 ATP molecules are produced. Then this 3-phosphoglycerate, with the help of enzyme phosphoglyceromutase, it produces 2-phosphoglycerate. And simply phosphorus gets transferred from position 3 to 2, and it produces 2-phosphoglycerate, which are also 2 molecules. Then with the help of enolase, and here hydration takes place, this 2-phosphoglycerate, it produces phosphoenol pyruvate. It produces phosphoenol pyruvate. And then in the last step, this phosphoenol pyruvate, it undergoes phosphorylation. And in 1 molecule of phosphorus is here produced. With the help of enzyme pyruvate kinase, it produces pyruvic acid. And phosphoenol pyruvate gets converted into pyruvic acid. Here phosphorus gets, and 1 phosphorus molecule is produced. That is why this step we also called as second ATP formation reaction. With this glycolysis gets completed, and a glycolysis in which glucose molecule, 1 glucose molecule produces 2 pyruvic acid molecules, which takes place in about 10 steps. These 10 steps have been further divided into 2 phases. Phase first, which is called preparatory phase or energy spending phase, and phase second or payoff phase or energy conserving phase. During the first phase, first 5 reactions at 2 steps, this ATP is consumed, which we call as priming reactions. We have 2 priming reactions, that is the first step and the third step. During the first and third step, 2 ATP molecules are consumed, which are called as priming reactions. Similarly, in the second phase, that is energy payoff phase or energy conserving phase, at 2 steps ATP formation takes place. First, in the 7th step, when 1,3-diphosphoglycerate gets converted into 3-phosphoglycerate, and then the last step when phosphoenol pyruvate gets converted into pyruvic acid. Now we will see the balance sheet of glycolysis. During glycolysis, we get 2 pyruvic acid molecules, and number of ATP molecules produced in glycolysis, it is 4 ATP molecules. 2 in the 7th step and 2 in the last step. And number of ATP molecules produced during electron transport, that is from NADPH, that is 6 ATP molecules, because 2 NADPH molecules are produced in the 6th reaction when this dehydrogenation takes place, when glyceryl dehyde 3-phosphate gets converted into 1,3-diphosphoglycerate. Here NADPH, 1 NADPH molecule is produced, but here 2 molecules of 1,3-diphosphoglycerate are produced, so 2 NADPH molecules are produced. And these 2 these NADPH molecules, after entering the electron transport system, they produce 6 ATP molecules, because each NADPH molecule produces 3 ATP molecules. So total ATP produced in the glycolysis, that is called 10. That is 4 ATP molecules and 2 NADPH molecules, which are equal to 6 ATP molecules. Total ATP molecules produced are 10, and number of ATP molecules consumed, that is 2 in the first and the third reaction. So net gain in glycolysis, that is 8 ATP molecules. Now let me repeat. We get in glycolysis, glucose gets converted, 1 molecule of glucose gets converted into 2 pyruvic acid molecules. In addition to this, the number of ATP molecules produced in glycolysis is called 4. That is called 4. 2 in the 7th step and 2 in the 10th step are produced. And number of ATP molecules produced through electron transport system, that is 6 ATP molecules, because 2 NADPH molecules are produced in the 7th step. 2 ATP molecules are equal to 2 NADPH molecules are equal to 6 ATP molecules, because 1 NADPH molecule is equal to 3 ATP molecules, so 2 are equal to 6. So total ATP is produced during glycolysis is equal to 10, but out of these 10, 2 are consumed. One in the first reaction, first step, and second in the third step. So the net gain of ATP molecules during this glycolysis is equal to 8. This is all for today. Thank you. Assalamu alaikum.